So before we get into this reaction, I just want to mention a member of the Nuclear family who could use our help. Rachel recently moved from Florida to California and is really struggling with moving expenses. Now, she's working hard, but the financial situation is very difficult for her. We've all been there, and I know a lot of you can relate. So if you're able, please donate something to help, or at the very least, take the link and share it around to everyone you know. That link will be the first thing in the description beneath the video. So if you can donate something, or if you feel so inclined, please share it, and that's very much appreciated. Thanks, guys. Let's nuke selfishness and take care of one another. And now let's get to that reaction. I'm Blake X, and this is another Nuclear reaction. What's up, survivors? So, Infinite List, another item. This one was requested by Isaias Esaia Realidade Batista, who asked for Orbit Culture and the song Wings of Dragons. Now, Orbit Culture is a band that I have heard of. I think I saw in my suggested videos on YouTube that another channel had reacted to something by this band. But I've never heard the music from the band at all on my own. So this is going to be a genuine first-time reaction. And I believe, according to Metal Archives, that this band is a combination of melodic death metal and groove metal. So it should be very interesting to hear what their sound is. Now, to the person who requested this song, I know you leave a lot of comments and you have like a lot of requests. Like probably if you put them all together, there'd be like 50 or 60 of them. And obviously I can't handle that volume of requests from one person. The list is something that I try and use to be fair to everyone who asks for a song to get reacted to. So I try not to do a song from the same person over and over and over again. Maybe after like 15, 20 songs, I'll do another request from the same person. That's totally fine. But I can't do like a multitude of songs. Usually it's just one song every now and then. I try my best, but it is an infinite list, and I gotta be fair to everybody. But this one has been sitting on the list for a while. Now, you requested another song a few months back, but it's been long enough to where I can get to another one of your suggestions here. So I'm gonna be checking this one out today. And very interesting title, very intriguing. And I have the lyrics pulled up, as always. And also, if you want to get cool shirts like this, then hit up the merch store, Ye Olde Nuclear Shop. And if you want to get bonus content, check out patreon.com/nuclearreactions. And if you want to become a cloud goer and join the Facebook group, check out the Mushroom Cloud. Links to all these things will be in the description beneath the video. All these things are great ways to enhance your experience as a member of the Nuclear family, and to show your support for the channel. Alright, Orbit Culture. Show me what you got. Wings of Dragons. Let's get to it in 3, 2, 1, go. Sounds good. Turn this up. So I really like the vocals on this one. They're very monstrous, very ferocious, very heavy and deep, but not like Cookie Monster style vocals. It's very interesting. It's more like a ferocious roaring style of harsh vocals. So I think that's really cool. So that's one of the high points for me so far. I really like the guitar work going on, and I just really like the kind of chugging kind of, rhythm and sound that it has. Really heavy, really brutal energy on this one so far. And I have an idea of what the lyrics are dealing with. I haven't fully read them yet, and I'll get to that after. But very interesting, and I'm enjoying it so far. It's not like, this is not one that's blowing me away, but I'm still really liking it. So we're off to a very good start. Let's keep it going. And obviously, this is a great headbanging song. Separation, touching us with the kill. Those Actually, I'd like to rectify my previous statement. I think the drumming is my favorite part of this song now. I'm just starting to really pick up on that as the song is going on, and I really like that. It's just, again, it has like a very, very chugging kind of feel, and when it's done right, that sounds really good. I'm not hearing a lot of change up in this song, and that's one of the downsides to me. That's one of the things that I would criticize. This seems to be like a very straightforward song musically, but in terms of headbanging quality and in terms of, a song filled with rage and, ferocity, it's doing a very good job at that. So I like the energy that it's putting out. So I got to give points for that. Yeah, man. This is not like a super musically sophisticated song, at least not to my ears, and it's not something that's brilliant or shockingly good, but it's something that's really fun and really enjoyable to me anyway. And totally matches the energy that I'm feeling tonight, which is perfect. So really solid so far. Let's finish it up. I like the build-up going on here. I really like this part. Okay, it's getting better and better. Now I'm hearing the groove. I'm feeling the groove metal part of this now. Okay, that ending was too abrupt for me because I was just getting into it. Like, this is another one. Like, this has been the case for several songs over the past few days that I've reacted to, but this is another one that I have to say the second half of it appealed to me a lot more than the first half. And I like the song as a whole, but it seemed like toward the end of the song, it was really starting to, pull in some groove influence. Like, it started out as more of a death metal song, melodic death metal song, and it was only toward the end that I really, detected a very groove-oriented style, and I was really getting into that, and I was just like getting into a zone, and then it just ended, and I hate when that happens. So, look, that's something I got to criticize about it. As a listener, that was something that I didn't enjoy. Like, I didn't like how it ended so soon. This could have used another 2 minutes. This could have been a 6-minute long song instead of 4 minutes, and I would have been much happier, But I will say that it did gradually change up, to my surprise, as it went on. And it wasn't so straightforward and cookie-cutter as I had initially assumed. So I have to walk back that statement and, correct myself on that, because this was a good song. A little bit better than I gave it credit for in the beginning. Really like the vocals, really like the drumming. Again, it could have used a little bit more of that groove, especially toward the beginning. It would have been more appealing to me right from the jump, Like, it would have caught my attention, right away. Instead of, me kind of just being like, oh, this is good, this is heavy, this is like a headbanging song, but I'm not really feeling it on any kind of significant level. But then, obviously, that changed. But I would have had a higher opinion of it from the very start if they had brought in that groove, at the very beginning. So yeah, it was good. It was really good, but it didn't quite go to the places that I had hoped it would. And, again, it could have been a little bit longer. That would have been more to my taste. But still very brutal, very ferocious, very in your face. this is pretty much like the musical equivalent of like getting hit in the head with a cinder block. Like, it's pretty good stuff, man. It's pretty much what I needed tonight, so I'm feeling it. And this is a song that I would re-listen to, and I will check out more from Orbit Culture, absolutely. This song didn't really let me down. There were, small parts and small things about it that I found a little bit disappointing, but overall, it was a good experience, and I enjoyed this. So, yeah, I think there's room for improvement. Absolutely. I think that, I'm hoping that there are other songs that this band has that do a little bit more musically and, fit my expectations a little bit more as a listener. So I'll have to see. I'll have to check out more in the future. But this song, as a first introduction and as a first listen to the band, it's not bad at all. It was fun. It was good. And this is off the album Rosin, which came out in 2016. Let me get to the lyrics. The gateways open, they've heard their call. Thunder among the mountains, the rain is yet to fall. The sky is darkened, our army small. Our days are counted, the end of all. I remember herds of people screaming in fire. I remember storms by the wings of a dragon. Can't feel my hands from the climb up the wall. When death emerge, we'll see the dawn one last time. The fire is sweeping, and when the flesh is hardened, our life's aberration turns to dust with the kill. The sky is blackened, our army's none. Our life's in a furnace, the end of all. I remember herds of people screaming in fire. I remember storms by the wings of a dragon. The rain, help us gods, the reckoning of our fallen. In flames, the world stands still. Flames and ashes in our homeland. The first thing these lyrics remind me of? They make me think about, that Game of Thrones episode. And spoiler alert, skip ahead 1 minute if you still haven't seen that. But that episode where Daenerys goes Mad Queen and uses her dragon to lay King's Landing to waste. And I know narratively and, character-wise, as far as the writing goes, people have problems with that. I know they felt that the season was rushed. I agree and disagree with certain things, and I'm not going to get into that because this is not about Game of Thrones at all. But I'll say one thing, because I feel that it's connected to how I feel about the song. And what I will say about that episode is I like how it portrayed, the death and the violence and the suffering and the destruction that was the result of that, dragon just wreaking havoc on a city. And so to me, this makes me visualize something very similar. And it's also very much about, the pain people feel as a result of, being attacked by a dragon, I think this song is sort of a short fantasy narrative, obviously, exploring the horror of a village that's been attacked and ravaged by dragonfire. So the ominous sound of dragon wings would have signaled terror and destruction. I think it's a very interesting song, lyrically speaking, and it's been a while since I reacted to a song that told a fictional story rather than dealt with something life-related. So as a writer and as a lover of fantasy, I think that's pretty cool. The last time I really tackled something heavily fantasy-oriented was during my power metal journey, especially on, like, the Blind Guardian songs and Frozen Crown, two excellent bands, by the way, that I also have to revisit, but before I, diverge from the main subject of discussion here, let me get back to saying that this song, it seems like they were trying to stop these dragons, and they had put an army together because it says, the sky has darkened, our army small, our days are counted, the end of all. So they couldn't stop these dragons from attacking, and now they're sort of in the 11th hour, and the rain has yet to fall, so they're still holding out hope that the flames can be put out and they can salvage their lives, but it's looking more and more doubtful. Now, I know some people don't like lyrics that don't relate to real life, but a lot of people also don't realize that fantasy itself relates to real life. It doesn't exist in a vacuum, It stems from real-life writers who have real thoughts and real feelings that they, imprint upon their works, their artistic works. Even as a fictional work, a fantasy story still has elements that relate to the human experience. Okay, characters still experience emotions like real people do. Things like war and destruction are, of course, very relatable and very much a part of our reality. And if you can take the power of real-life tragedy and inject it into a story, even a story about dragons, doesn't matter. If you can do that, then you can tap into real emotion and you can move the listener. And that's the mark of a good writer. Fiction or nonfiction, And I think the lyrics, do a decent job of that because it tells it from the perspective of this person who has survived this and is just trying to get away. And it does a good job of describing the carnage taking place, like the fire sweeping, and when the flesh is hardened, our life's aberration turns to dust with the kill. That's a very poetic way to put it. Our life's aberration. I like that. So it's a simple story, right? It just says something very basic, something that just happens. A dragon attacks this village, and this is the result, and people are contending with this destruction and this impending death. But despite the simplicity of it, it's written quite well. So I think I got to give a little more credit to the lyrics compared with the music. The music was very good, but I think it was slightly outmatched by the writing. So, yeah, it's interesting how dragons now are almost universally popular. And not just now, actually. They've been a core part of mythology, folklore, and stories for ages, throughout various cultures, Eastern and Western alike, in ancient times and modern times. And of course, there's been an especially big spike or resurgence in their popularity after Game of Thrones. But even before that, they were a big thing, at least in fantasy circles. Dungeons and Dragons, Magic the Gathering, Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit. And now I'm going to switch into geek mode to talk a little bit about fantasy, but I think that more needs to be done with dragons. It's amazing to me that aside from slight variations, like ice dragons and stuff like that, after thousands of years of lore and stories, dragons really haven't changed much. They're still scaly, winged, fire-breathing creatures, and I'm not saying that you should reinvent the wheel. I'm just suggesting that you update it a little bit. And for those who don't know, and surprisingly I haven't mentioned this much on the channel, but I'm working on an epic fantasy series. It's going to be a book series, and dragons will be featured in the first novel. But as a writer, I'm going to be making some huge changes to what the idea of a dragon is. It's going to be pretty much unlike anything, as far as I know, unlike anything ever seen in fantasy before. It's something completely new. And I don't want my ideas stolen, so obviously I'm not going to give away details, but I will say, think cosmic. Think on a cosmic scale. Think of something alien and otherworldly rather than something terrestrial, as you would come to expect from traditional fantasy. So something a little bit different. The basic structure of what a dragon is will still be there, but with some major twists. But it is interesting to me that dragons haven't been reinvented or tweaked very much, and maybe they have and they just haven't seen or read these stories. That's totally possible. So if you're also a fantasy fan, and I'm completely off about this, let me know in the comments and include some examples. But by and large, I feel like they've stayed the same, and by contrast, most other mythical creatures and characters haven't. That's why I find it so interesting. I mean, look at zombies, right? Originally, they were corpses reanimated by voodoo and controlled by whoever raised them, so it was very much like a magic-based kind of thing. Then that idea was kind of taken and sort of reshaped into the concept of there's some real-world disease or viral outbreak that resurrects the dead, and that's pretty much become the popular zombie idea of our time, as The Walking Dead demonstrates. So that's one good example. Even vampires have been reinvented, sometimes poorly. I'm not a Twilight fan. But, you've got the Jiangshi in Chinese lore, basically a jumping vampire that drinks your life force instead of your blood. There's some other type of vampire in folklore. I'm not sure about the culture or what it's called, but you have one type that has, mouths on its hands that it uses. So there's a lot of variation. That's just another example. I could go on. And so as a huge fantasy nerd, I'm kind of actually disappointed that more hasn't been done with dragons. It's just something that occurred to me. I know it doesn't directly have anything to do with the song, but yeah, just something I found interesting. But yeah, very well-written song, and I think this has basically shown that I can ramble on endlessly about anything, even dragons. So, I think there's no topic for a metal song that can't get a full analysis on this channel. I always have something that occurs to me when I read the lyrics, always something to say. And, for what it's worth, to its credit, this song did give me something to talk about and something to think about. And I have zero issue with songs that tell stories, I like both. I like songs that relate to real life. I like songs that tell totally fictional, fantastical stories. I like songs that manage to mix both and use one as a metaphor for the other. I think that's also brilliant. This one was, again, lyrically straightforward, but well written. it made good use of words here, and it's an interesting concept for sure. The music was solid. I already went into my little criticisms of it, but aside from that, it was very much enjoyable, and I would listen to this one again. I'm not going to say that this is a playlist song because it's not quite that good for me, but it does deserve another couple of listens, and maybe this one will be a grower. My opinion on it will, get even better as I listen to it again and again. That's totally possible, and I'm definitely going to be revisiting Orbit Culture. So if you have any other suggestions or requests from this band, put them in the comments. They can go on the infinite list. But as for this one, that's one less item on that list. And thank you, Isaiah, for the request. And again, I know you make a lot of requests on this channel, and I can't get to them all, but after I do another 15, 20 requests, I'll try to get to another one of yours. And in terms of rating, I'm going to give this one, I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 12 on the Doomsday Clock. It was fun, it was very headbangable, and it deserves another couple of listens on my part. But it's not something that I'm going to be raving about, so I think that's a pretty fair rating. And there you have it, guys. My review, my analysis. Hope everyone's having a great weekend, or at least it is the weekend at the time of filming. Don't know when this one's going to go up, but anyway, have a good day or a good night, regardless of when you see this. And as always, thank you for the support. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And don't forget, if you're interested, patreon.com/nuclearreactions. You can become a patron for as low as $2 a month. All right, much love and respect to the Nuclear family, and I will catch you guys next time.